Hi guys, this is Crossy of Eclipse Gaming TV and welcome to part 54 of my FM2014 Lower League to Champions League Challenge with Dover Athletic. And this is going to be the first time where we trial a couple of games in one, give you guys the chance to see a bit of the behind the scenes stuff and what I do in between games, which to be honest isn't a lot. And following on from one comment that was thrown in about how I had tired players in the last game and how that's quite likely to happen going forward. Yeah, I accept that is going to be a problem that we will no doubt face, so I'm going to try and address that as best I can. Very little room in the wage budget though, unfortunately, so I have promoted a few players from the youth team, which I'll show you, and we may also see the return of a bit of a legend of our first season, potentially. The contract offer is in, and he may well end up occupying one of the wide positions, which is a particular problem for us going forward, I would say, but hopefully we can improve on that somewhat. So, gonna stick with the plan that we're going for originally. So, Constantine Carter's going to take the spot on the right wing. Can't remember who dropped in the comment, but it was suggested to give him a bit of a run in the side, so that is exactly what I plan to do. Across the back, we've got Marlon Romeo and Devante McCain, the two signings from Gillingham, alongside Teddy Ngoy, who I like to have a bit of a chat to up his training performance, as he's one of those players that could step up and eventually play sort of League 2, League 1 standards, so it'd be nice to keep him around. Tom Winter currently keeping his place, but I am tempted to rotate in Gary Borrowdale. Can't at the moment because of fitness. That is one position where I've got a little more depth than I had before. Wasn't particularly keen on Lloyd Harrington. Maybe should have given him more of a run in the side. Again, bit of an issue in what I do in the central midfield area because of, again, fitness worries. Sawyer and Mark Hughes both down in the 80s. So I'm going to throw Alex Sedira in there for the time being, but I've got Sawyer that can come in, and chances are he may well end up making that jump. Also, going to have a little bit of a reshuffle. So Tom Ross, who's got a bit of fitness in him, is going to jump in. Aside from that, yeah, I've left myself in a bit of trouble here. I think what I'm going to have to do, and we'll have a look after this game takes place, to see if I can grab a couple of players on loan that can step in as squad players, as I just don't have the room to pick up players. Looks like that's an area that we need to work on. I've got 3-4 midfielders that can slot in at the centre, and unfortunately, hang on, I'm sure we've already played Hyde. Wasn't this part 53 when we played Hyde? Something doesn't seem right here. Oh well, let's just go with it. Well, here Birchall gets a opportunity which he skims just wide. While we're talking about possibly repeating part 53 over again, I'll have a little look at the training, because I have tweaked that, trying to get the players used to this new tactic, which is a 4-2-4 formation. It's the same formation, player roles, etc. that I use in my English Revival series, which I've only thrown up about 3-4 parts on YouTube for, because I've just got so addicted to playing it that I was smashing way ahead of myself. So we go 1-0 down. Hyde down in 23rd place at the moment, by the way. I know we've only had one game of the season played, but really need to be picking up points here if we can. Marlon Romeo well in. Carter lays it off to Romeo, who's got pace but not a lot else, but that ball into Birchall was pretty impressive. Chance for Birchall from the free kick, high and wide. Dangerous here for the free kick, goes up and over. Marlon Romeo picking up a yellow card in that encounter. Sadira, nice ball up to Nathan Elder. Dinks it in, tries to find Birchall. Roberts with a long range effort. And I know exactly what I've done here. I forgot to save after the last game. Schoolboy error. So back in the good old days of gaming when PCs weren't all that reliable, you'd spend hours getting far ahead in the game, and then it would crash and you'd have to start it all over again. Had that with games, had that with school projects, had that with CVs, had that with pretty much everything you can think of. You thought after 15 years or whatever of not remembering to save stuff I would have learned, but clearly not. And we ended up picking up a 2-1 win last time we played this one, so hoping for the same thing again. Gonna need the same thing again. And that ball fairly hopeful. Good save from Paul Smith. I think McKay managed to do just enough to put the striker off. Chance of Birchall to find Elder and isn't able to do it. Come on, Romeo, well in. Wasn't going to get beaten in behind like that. Final ball letting us down. Here it's a Sparks, jinx it in for Birchall. Point blank shot, blasts it straight into the legs of the flailing goalkeeper. So tell the boys to push on, that they can still win this. Going for a very attacking style of play. Daniel Sparks just drifting offside. But we're looking threatening, we're creating some chances. Also giving away a few chances, but Paul Smith is solid again. Tindy Ngoy with a header. And Smith again is equal to that shot. Still got over half an hour to try and find a goal or two. Salvage point. Sparks up to Elder. He's been in good form early on. Feeds it back to Sparks. Chance for Roberts to finish. And good job by the defender. Last ditch stuff. Chance for Devante McCain. And that's a terrible camera angle. But he has powered it in on the end of Daniel Sparks' corner. Very nice. It's a point on the board. We'll take that. Need another goal here though if we can. Roberts well in. No nonsense, no messing around. Feeds in Sparks, goes for a long range effort. High and wide. Well then Tom Winter, long range effort. I can shoot from there all day. Come on boys, one more goal now and let's not get caught in behind Paul Smith again, one-on-one. There was a question about me bringing Smithy in place of Mitch Walker, who has actually left the club as well. Had to get rid of him to clear a bit of wage room. And whether he was actually a better player than Mitch Walker going forward. And I think long term you would say probably not. But I'm looking short term here. Probably will. Oh, and he's in behind again. Good job Teddy and Goy able to recover. Chance from the corner again. Constantine Carter. What a finish that is. Outside of the left boot. Check this out. Crisp. No messing around with that. Yeah, as I was saying, this is a bit of a project to try and reach the Champions League, and with the new version of Football Manager coming out in November, I don't think I'm going to quite make it on this project, especially with mistakes like that. Ball into the box from pretty much the halfway line, inside their own half in fact, no centre-backs anywhere near him. In fact, it could have gone to any one of 3 players, just not good enough. Maybe I should switch my formation away from overload, to be honest, when that second goal went in. But as that kind of evidence, I'm really worried with this team about dropping back and inviting other teams onto us. Chance for Elder, could have played in Birchall. Instead he goes backwards with it. Winston needs to get a ball in. Delivery isn't good enough. Sadira to Roberts on the outside of the box. Goes for a long range one. But it is quite a way wide. Yeah, I'm concerned about bringing teams onto us too much because... Oh, good save. Because it's still very easy to get chances against this Dover side. Now taking over training, I spend a lot of time working on defensive positioning, I think. Chance of Birchall. And that's a cracking goal from Adam Birchall. We needed that. Right, okay. Let's drop it back. Let's go for counter-attacking football here. We've got pace in the wide position, especially down the right with Carter and Romeo. Let's keep it tight, boys. Come on. Beckham-esque. Finds a gap in the wall. Keeper didn't move. Chance for Nathan Elder from a long range. And what a finish that is. Beast. Birchall to Elder. Caught the keeper off his line. Didn't go for the cheeky trip, just blasted it. Now with the game safe, I'm going to make a few adjustments. Not going to make any odds now. Players are already knackered, but nothing else. It winds the clock down for a second or two. Dying embers of this game. Tom Ross, the 16-year-old, I think he is, at right back, goes in with a challenge. Got himself in a bit of trouble. Probably going to pick up a yellow card for that. Did well with the initial challenge and then sort of overran the pass back to him. And Paul Smith equal to that. Been one of the standout players, kept us in it, the goalkeeper. Chance for the loanee Allen to work something. Puts it straight into the stands for a goal kick. And we will quite happily take that after some pretty shocking defensive work, going a goal down early, and we have come away with 3 points, and that is 4 points of a possible 6. And yet, if you've watched part 53, you are just seeing the same thing all over again, pretty much. But another 3 points on the board, and we will quite happily take that. Get to the press conference. And then I'll go have a bit of a look and see if I can bring in a few loan signings. It's got to be the way to go. Edgar David's available on a free transfer, but I know for a fact he's not going to come to us. I've tried that already. So, let's see what I can do. Christian Nanetti is actually at Dover, I believe. Some of my Screw Premier sides. At Dover in real life, I meant, but attacking midfield isn't really what we need. It's more central midfield. Is there anyone I can pick up? do a job for us. See if I can grab this guy, because it looks like, don't want to go on star ratings too much, but not only is it going to strengthen the midfield area, as we see Moses Adamola has agreed terms for Dover. I think this could solve my wide positions, my issues in the wide positions. Just to show you how things went for him. 43 appearances, 25 goals and 22 assists. So this was the player that took us up last season. Let him go thinking he wasn't quite able to cut it at this level, but I think having another option up front, having someone that can slot into either of the two wide positions is going to be quite useful for us. And we know he knows where the goal is, so he could be a useful pickup for us going forward. Right, now what I also want to have a look at while we're here quickly is players we can get in on loan. Ooh. Sorry, clicking around all over the shop. Right, let's see. What we're looking at here. I think we'll go with that and see. If we can get that midfielder that I put in a contract offer for, that's one area where I think we are struggling a bit on depth, and it would be handy to have one more. The other areas I'm not too worried about. We've got a bit of cover. Ask Cookie to welcome Adamola back to the team, even though he only left a few months ago, if that. Let's get to it. So Peter Sweeney has signed for us. I think we'll be throwing him straight in against Ebbsfleet. Bit of a grudge match, one that we'd like to win if we can. And what I'm going to have a look at as well is training, because we're still not up to speed on this tactic, and I thought it was going to happen a little quicker than it actually has, but never mind. So match training on tactics. I had to switch a couple of these to tactics as well. And I want to shift it to defensive positioning after that. So we'll keep an eye on how things develop on that bar and try and get ourselves familiar with the tactics. Width seems to be a big issue that we're having on it. They're not quite used to having the wide players out because we've been playing a very narrow formation up until then, but it's fine. I'm confident that we can recover this. And despite not being quite as familiar with the formation as we like, we have picked up 4 points from a possible 6 so far. And that leaves us in the playoff spots, which is where we want to be 2 games in. I'm going to save this really quickly because of reasons that we did talk about. And you see some of the players are now, fitness-wise, a little more ready to go. So what I'm going to do here is throw Peter Sweeney straight in alongside Grant Roberts. Set him as a deep line playmaker. Support role. A little bit of a change here, but try and work it for him as best we can. Anyone in defence struggling with fitness, I'll throw in Fakagna for McCain for this game. Also want to give a run out. Let's have Adamola alongside Carter and see if he can start with a bang here. Lee Hughes nearly ready to go. Going to be interesting to see where he's going to slot in. Finishing 13, first touch decent, technique decent. I think he's arguably the best player that we have up front. So can I put him in for Elder or Birchall? It's tough. They've both been on good form. I'll have to try and work it out. Hughes is sort of a target man, so he might have to go into Elder's role, but cross that bridge when we come to it. And in the meantime, what else do I fancy doing? Go throw Borrowdale in for Winter, I think, because he's not looked particularly impressive so far. Romeo, going to leave him in. And then do I want to swap Roberts out for someone? Going to throw in Hughes in his position. Not the Mark Hughes, unfortunately. Right, okay, let's get to this. So, squad numbers need to be assigned. Yeah, let's get that done. Adam has grabbed his number 19 shirt back. So we've pretty much got the Dover reserve team here. Ben May, Dean Rance, 2 players that were in the Dover side a couple of seasons ago. Dean Rance is a player I'm a huge fan of personally. Look at his stats there. But in the Dover playoff final that they lost a couple of seasons ago, he was, without a doubt, I think, player of the match there. And it's a bit of a shame to see him move on to Ebbsfleet. But unfortunately, these players have to go where the money is. They're still... Leon Johnson, ex-Gillingham. What a player he was. Remember seeing him pretty much every week when it's him and Ian Cox, sort of a mid-30-year-old Trinidad and Tobago international, and those two were absolute mustard. They had sort of Leon Johnson, who's the left footer, Ian Cox on the right, and very little could get past those two. They were the highlights of our team, I guess you could say. Right, so we want to go closing down on these wide players. And I've got the goalkeeper in the mix as well. Let's try and put pressure on him. And then Ben May, don't want to close him down because we don't want to leave gaps in behind him, but we do want to go in hard. Tight marking. Push him onto his weaker foot as much as possible. Right, let's get to it. Tell lads to go out and get revenge from the last time out. And we are underway. A couple of new signings. One very familiar to Dover, and here he is trying to get on the ball. Did I get a chance? What's he got to do with it? Nice ball into Birchall. Adamola wins the header, flicks it back to Elder. Catch in practice for Preston Edwards, though. Playing it around from the back. Ficagna going backwards. But plays it safely back to the goalie. Don't mind that. Big boot up front to Elder. Flicks it to Birchall. Just needs to apply the finish. Carter. Can he get his second in 2 games? No, he can't. Just pushes it wide. Maybe he had time to take a touch there and pick his spot. Ficagna beaten for pace. Williams just skimming wide though. Lucky for us. Well in Marlon Romeo. Keeping out Fraser Franks at the right back spot. Proving that he deserves it with a tackle like that. Ball behind Chat and Howell chips over. Players with their arms up in the air for offside. That is not the way to go. Ain't over till the ref's blowing the whistle. And we're up against it here. Absorbing some early pressure. Wouldn't mind an attack up the other end. Get another long range effort. We nick a goal just before the stroke of half time. Sweeney with a header. Gets the ball back. Borrowdale in the mix. Ex-Coventry man. looking much less overweight in his FM14 picture they did when he turned up to Gillingham pre-season. Chance for Ademola, ball into Elder, but he is offside, unfortunately. And I think I might have made the right move in bringing Ademola back. Looked lively, put a couple of balls into Elder already out on that left wing. You can call it one of the problems solved, but that's a good bit of football. Saul Williams. Great finish on the stroke at half time. That's what we were hoping to do. But once again, it looks like we're going to have to recover this one from behind. Nothing like a challenge. Let's go overload. Ball in behind, but way over hit. Chance to catch him on the break here, maybe. Or not. Ademola decided to head back towards his own goal by the looks of that, and Ben May was more than willing to capitalise. Is that what happened there? Yeah, it is. Oh dear. Alright, plenty of work to do here now. That's Hughes gone, so Sawyer goes in. Similar kind of player, similar kind of role. And save from Smithy. High to his right. Ademola in with the clearance. Ademola, not a great ball there. Very ambitious. Romeo going backwards, but does find Sweeney in the midfield. This is something building. Carter gets away with it. Lobs it up to Sawyer. Through to Birchall. Chance to finish. Smashes it off the post, but he was offside anyway. Good bit of link-up play. A little bit of one-touch stuff. Completely undone our defence. Oh wow, it's just shooting practice now. This is ridiculous. No, I don't want to see that again. Johnson Birchall only able to draw a corner, which Ademola prompts to boot out a touch. Right, up to Carter. Carter again. To Birchall. He just comes it wide. Couldn't even buy a goal today, Birchall. Ball in behind. Oh, this is horrible. This is not pretty at all. Don't think promotion's on the card this season, guys. Elder trying to bump it through to Birchall, isn't able to. One for Carter to run onto. Route one stuff to Elder. Smashes it into the keeper from point blank range. Luckily Birchall's in there to follow up. Alright, let's see if I can make an adjustment or two. Not got a whole lot of options actually. I think what I'll do is throw Ademola up front. And then I'll stick Alan in. Ferelder out on the left. It's about the only thing I can do. See if Adamo's got a goal or two in him. Picagno with the clearance. Absolutely passing it around for fun. Waiting for an opportunity to open up, which it does, eventually. Good save from Paul Smith, digs us out of it. But to Adamola, offside. And again, chances should have been finished. Far too many of those where we could have put a goal in. Another attack building, Birchall. To Sweeney. Plays it out to Allen. Can he find someone in the middle? No, he can't. Can he find the back of a red shirt? Adamola finds Picagno. Goal for Pride, maybe. Final 5 minutes. Paul Smith, solid save. Oh dear. That's a penalty. Probably going to be 6-2. And it is. Okay, fair enough. Well, this has been pretty terrible so far. I guess positives you can get out of this. Got a couple of goals for Pride and have created plenty of chances up the other end. We could have potentially got 4 or 5 goals ourselves, but far too leaky at the back. I think some of that might have been caused by me switching to overload to try and chase the game and pick up the points. Maybe shouldn't have done that. I think what I might even try doing is leave it with sort of a counter-attacking formation. We've got a very attacking formation as it is anyway, so there's nothing stopping us from sitting back and trying to build and use the pace as it just goes 7-2. Yes, that has happened. Or maybe this is because the formation is 1, wrong, or 2, the players just aren't used to it and this will improve. Do I go back to the narrow down the middle and have a defensive midfielder? I think with our extra signing in the central midfield, we may well be able to swing that with Sweeney coming in. Adamola to Birchall. Adamola caught offside again. All in all, I think a lot of things that we need to look at, but definitely not good enough. And that is unfortunately embarrassing. So for those of you that are hoping to see back-to-back promotions, going on that at least, it's not looking likely, but that's what we were saying at the beginning of last season as well, so there's no reason to lose hope, and fingers crossed we can turn it around. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any feedback and things that I can do to improve, then please send them up. I definitely need them after that performance, and all the help will be very much appreciated. Other than that, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and give the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.